will appreciate it as well. Don't forget, we want you to complete the summary evaluation at the end of the session. But for now, let me turn this over to Mel Procheski, President of Eagle Ventures, who will begin the discussion.
Okay,
Mel?
thank you, Doris. I can only my mother and you can say those kind of nice things. The reality is always different, as we know. Um, well, what I'm going to do, well, first of all, thank you. I always like to start out by saying, I'm here because I'm a professional fundraiser. I raise money for startup companies here in Pittsburgh, and over the last 40 years, I've raised about 110 or 15 million dollars. And one of the things I learned, in fact, the thing that I learned along the way about how to do that, because I truly am an ordinary guy but I did do something extraordinary, is it was perfecting the pitch. And I'll come back to why I say that's so important. So we'll spend about 20, 25 minutes on our PowerPoint, and then we'll get into the fun part of the session, which you really like, which is the one-on-ones where we develop the pitch itself with each of the participants. And I grew up, just as background, I grew up in Monongahela, about 30 miles south of Pittsburgh, and went off, became an accountant in my first career. And like many accountants, I am an introvert. And I, by the way, said I am. I didn't say I was, because at least for me, once an introvert, always one. But you may think the way I'm talking is that I'm not an introvert, but no, I learned how to do this even though I'm an introvert. The point being is that if you're an introvert, you can still do what we're talking about. You can still improve the effectiveness of your pitch dramatically in some cases, regardless of your personality. So I was fortunate enough to be with a large accounting firm and became a partner. And after a couple of years, I realized, well, partners very secure back in those days. But clearly, when I saw what other partners made, you couldn't get rich. So I said, hey, I want to take a shot at getting rich, whatever that would be, and have my own freedom and so on. So I quit and dived into the idea of raising money. I learned the hard way that just because you could sell tax returns and tax consulting, that mean that you could sell a concept, a startup, or selling your organization's concept if you're selling, if you're raising money for a nonprofit, or selling your corporation's, your entity's product or service. That's far different than selling tax returns. People know what tax returns are, but when you and that was from a big 8 accounting firm. People understood what that was. But when you're selling a service or a concept, or especially a startup, people do not really know what your value proposition is unless you tell it to them. And there's a way to tell it to them that they can really get it to the depths of their bones, versus you tell it to them and they just, kind of goes in one ear and out the other. They didn't really get it. They heard it, but they didn't get it. So that's what this is about, to have your customer, your prospective donor, your staff, when you're recruiting, to have people get whatever your opportunity is or your value proposition to the depths of the bones, like you get it to yours. So I started raising money. As I said, I thought I knew how to raise money. Found out very quickly I had no idea how to raise money. I scared myself a couple times. I thought I'm never going to get it done, but I worked hard. I took Dale Carnegie courses and those kinds of things, and learned how to speak publicly, which has to do with, you got to be enthusiastic. And how do you be enthusiastic when you're an introvert? What I found out is that you can't fake enthusiasm if you don't have it on the inside. But if you have enthusiasm for what you're doing on the inside, regardless of what your personality is, you can fake it and express it on the outside. You got to have it inside of you, because you can't fake nothing. But if you got it inside of you, faking it on the outside, your enthusiasm, by moving your hands — you can't see me moving my hands too well here, but and resonating the tone of your voice, ending some sentences in an uptick in the tone of your voice. These things I do consciously, but now I've gotten used to pretty much unconsciously. But it's the point of, make sure that I don't talk like I used to I still talk in a monotone, because that's how I talk. But I try to, as I said, elevate my voice to when I'm expressing something I'm enthusiastic about, or walk around, move my hands, any of those things. So when I got to the $20 million level raising money, I had this realization that really impacted the rest of my career, and with the bottom line of this thing, this webinar is all about, in that one day I came to realize, there's a lot of good deals. And by the way, when I say good deals, I also mean good nonprofits, good companies with good products or good services, so just translate whatever I'm saying when I talk about startups into your nonprofit or your company's product or service. What I found out is that there's a lot more good deals, and I found this from my own experience. All that money I raised, by the way, has been from high net worth individuals. I didn't go out to venture capital firms or banks and whatever and raise, $10 million from 10 large banks or venture capital firms and end up, I raised $100 million plus only from individuals, except for $500,000 chunk that came from a venture capital fund. So that's hundreds and hundreds of people put in money from $10,000 to $1 million over all the 30-year deals I did. And so I know from experience that there's a lot more good, this is key, there's a lot more good deals out there in the world than there is money. So a lot more nonprofits out there than there is money, good nonprofits than there is money. But there's a lot more money, way more money than there are great deals, than there are great nonprofits, than there are companies with a great service or a great product. And if you're not getting the donors, or you're not getting the revenue, or you're not getting the investors, all of that is not due, if you have a great opportunity, a great nonprofit, being, and I'll get into what is great, but it's a nonprofit that has a great mission and makes a great difference, not a good difference. Because there's lots of nonprofits, again, as we all know, many nonprofits, companies, products and services that are all good. But if you have a great one, but you know in your heart whether it is or isn't, unless you're deluding yourself, I suppose some college professor thinking that they had some really great, new idea, and talking to their students, is that a great, well, no, because you're talking to the wrong people. You've got to talk to people that actually buy your product or service or invest in you and who they think is great. So, but you are all in the field, so you know whether or not what you have is great or good. If you have a great product, and you have, and I'm going to ask a question, so everybody should go off of mute to answer this question. So I'm going to ask one of you to just shout it out. If you have a great opportunity, a great nonprofit, a great cause, a great product, and you're not raising the money, and I can assure you there's way more money than our great deals. Well, what's missing? You have a great deal, there's tons of money for great deals, not for good. What's missing? Somebody, I see Rachel and Coleman and Sean, you're all on mute, so come off mute, and one of you just yell out, what do you think is missing? If you have a great opportunity, great value proposition, there's way more money than great value opportunities. What's missing?
Your presentation, your form, your communication method.
It's exactly correct. Yeah. Now, what's so powerful about that, that's, if you think about it, and that's how I got to where I am, really, is when I was having a hard time, which is, check this, 100% of every deal I raised money for was hard. 100%, because if I knew what I knew now, I don't know whether I'd still do this, because it is really hard. But, when you're running your nonprofit, or you're raising money, or you're selling your product or service, it's not easy. No, we all thought it would be easier than it is, but it's not. It's harder than we all expect, but that's life. And if you can, hack it out and hang in there, figure out what you got to do, well, you can be successful, but it'll be hard. That's no problem with that. But the thing is, you can say X and people hear Y. Or you can say X and they don't get it to the depths of their bones like you do. You can say X and they're thinking in their head, I wonder what they meant by that. If you use any acronyms, any jargon in your presentation, and you'll find out when we get to the one-on-ones, there'll be some of that, so you'll know what I mean in particular. But if you had any kind of a, for example, if you were to say, you're talking to somebody, some new prospect, Greta or Doris or Sean, and you said, I'm blah, 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 and in the middle of it, you mention it, AACCWP. And somebody's in that crowd that you're talking to might think, oh, I wonder what AACCWP means. Of course, you know, but when they wonder that, they are not listening to you. And when they're not listening to, then that's how they miss things. And that happens all the time. We all are thinking in our heads, what did they say? What time is it? I got to get out of here. There's too many nonprofits asking for my money, etc. Unless you have them engrossed in your conversation. So what I found is the way to get people engrossed is you just don't go out and get them engrossed. If you think about fishing, the way you catch a fish, and I don't mean to degrade, customers, prospects, donors, employees, when I talk about it like this way, but it really illustrates the way you catch a fish. The best way is get them to nibble and then get her to bite. Don't try to get them to bite right away. That's what the elevator pitch is all about. If you have 20, 30 seconds, the elevator pitch idea, concept, name, came out of the idea, I guess, if you get an elevator and there's somebody who could be a prospective donor or customer or investor in that elevator, and you only got between here and the 5th floor, and then they're going to get off, what do you say in the next 20 or 30 seconds that will have them say at the end of the elevator ride, or think in their head, or say, ooh, tell me more? What do you say in 20 or 30 seconds? That's all you got. And if you can get them to think, tell me more, then they're going to be engrossed in whatever you say next for the next 45 seconds. People's span of attention, I mean, think about it when you're at a party or whatever, that's when it really illustrates, you meet somebody new, but they're kind of, I don't know, it's something negative, boring or whatever. It's not, you want to meet somebody else, you're looking for a friend, whatever it is. When somebody walks up to you and how you doing, whatever, what you doing, your span of attention is really limited. We're talking about 10 seconds maybe. So people's span of attention in elevators, people's span of attention in meetings is very limited. And if you can get their attention to be thinking, tell me more in the first 20, 30 seconds, they will listen to the next 45 seconds or whatever differently. And during the 45 seconds, you can kind of sink the hook a little more, then you got them engrossed in the next 10, 20 minutes. But if you don't get them engrossed, they're going to listen differently. And that's the key. Because to raise the money, to get the customer, to get that staff person to want to really join your organization, you want to be having them getting the opportunity to the depths of their bones. So now I'm going to jump over to this, my slide deck here, and I got to share screen if you would. Sean, let me share screen with you, or how do you redo that? What do I got to do for sharing the screen?
Should have something on your system that says share, maybe at the upper right.
See, oh, there you go. Yep. Okay. Right. And let's see. Let me get rid of this thing here. Okay, that said share. All right, window 4. I don't know if that's this one.
I love it. He's like me trying to figure it out. There you go.
If I was 12 years old today, we could figure all this stuff out, right? But I don't.
Right.
Okay, so is this being shared?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay, good. We're good to go then. Okay, so I'm just talking, not going by these slides, but I will go check out these slides and make sure that I cover these important points. And you can get a copy of this slide from from Sean, and you can get a copy of this slide off of my website. And my website is right there, eagleventures.biz. And you can get the slide deck in the resources section. Actually, what's up there is a slide deck for profit, for an entrepreneurial, for this elevator pitch workshop for profits. I'll put one up there on my website in the next couple days, so you can get this presentation there. But like I said, Sean has it too. Hold on one second, please. Okay. All right. So as I said, more good deals out there than there are money, but way, absolutely. Boy, don't even question about it. And I learned that from a fact. I'm not speaking because it's not an opinion. What makes something great? So if this is your company's value proposition, if you're a startup or if you're already in business, it's your services, it's your product, You got to have these things: a huge need. You know, if you're a nonprofit that tugs at people's hearts, or if it's a startup, it's going to be, you know, a must-have, not a nice-to-have kind of thing. You got to have a competitive distinction, because if you feel a big need like taking care of kids, but there's hundreds of companies, I mean hundreds of nonprofits taking care of kids. You need a competitive distinction. How are you able to do your mission better than anybody else, or in an outstanding way? Because if I'm a donor, I'm going to think, well, you know, then I mean, not everybody's great, and I'm going to think, well, you're probably just another one, and I may or may not give to you. But if you're like, wow, you really make a difference in some way, that's what we got to get to. You have to have a sustainable business model, and even as a nonprofit, it has to be sustainable. You know, you've got to be able to have a plan or an approach that people can believe, hey, you're going to be here next year or 2 years from now. Otherwise, they'll never give you the money for your product, service, or investment. And you need great, not good leadership, because everything starts with leadership in organizations. And leadership sets the tone, the culture, and everything else. You might think people invest in, and hopefully you all are good, really good leaders, and I'm going to define that in a second. Hopefully you all are, you know, really great leaders. And you know whether you are or not. If your nonprofits or your company's successful, you probably are a great leader. If you're not successful, it could be the leadership. What's a great leader? Nothing's magic about this. By the way, this is not about your pitch, but I think it's important just to know these things. You know, they're a person that you work with, not for. They're a champion. They got that vision, and man, they, in good times and bad times, they can talk about it and get you excited about it. This is very key. Just having a mission, a vision isn't it. What's really important is someone who has really good judgment in front line and the trenches where it counts, because that judgment is going to take you upwards or downwards. And it doesn't mean perfect judgment. It just means overall good judgment. And it doesn't mean experience, because every great leader is a leader for the first time sometime. Well, we said, if you're not raising money and you know you have a great opportunity, it's all in the articulation. So what is then with the sale real? I used to think that when I was raising money originally, that the sale of the investment took place when they read the business plan and made a decision. They wouldn't read the business plan, of course, until after the presentation, the PowerPoint or whatever. So you're talking about like the end of the process, the decision is made. No, not at all. The sale, so to speak, is a multi-stage process, but it begins. If you don't have the first sale, it's much tougher to have the second phase of the sale, where you're really sinking the hook. But if you got them engrossed, it's much easier to get to the second than the third phase. So the first phase is during the first 20, 30 seconds. Hopefully then they're going to say, tell me more, and listen to you in the next phase, next couple of minutes, whatever. And if you sink the hook really good, then you got another half or hour from them where they're engrossed. That's the picture. It's not in the business plan. It's not in your supplemental material, your brochures, all of those things. No. They make this decision based on what happens in the first 20, 30 seconds. And you brought them into here kind of engrossed versus bringing them in here not engrossed. You lost. It's harder to make the sale if you don't do that. If you don't have an effective elevator pitch. So what do you say? There's only two things. Remember, you only got 20, 30 seconds. So what do you do? And something that independently authenticates the importance of your cause. You want them to tell me more at the end. Well, when I first started talking here, I said, well, the reason I'm here is because $110 million in raising money for startups. What do? You raise money for startups. What's distinct about what you do? 110 or $20 million. I get that in. When people ask me, what do? I don't say I raise money for startups. I say I raise money for startups, and I mentioned that $110 million several different ways, whatever comes to my head. And over the years, I've raised the money. By the way, it's a little embarrassing when somebody says, what do you do? And I say I raise money, and over the years, I'm proud to say, they didn't ask me, what are you proud of? They asked me what you do. But I can't figure out another way to say what I say without being a little embarrassed, because they didn't ask that question, but I get the point across. Because when I'm out at a party or anywhere else, I'm looking for next investors, I'm looking for the next great deal, and I'm looking for the next CEO who might be on the bench to run the next great deal. And so I got to bring up that if I said I'm a money raiser, people who I'm talking to would say, oh, that's nice, or they would think that's nice. They won't say that. They'll say, oh, great. They'll think that's nice, but if you tell them $110 million, if they have any interest in the kind of thing that I'm talking about, you know, hey, if he's raised all that money, maybe he's got some good deals. I'm an investor. I want to know more, Mel. Or a CEO looking for a gig. Hey, Mel, what kind of deals you seeing? Or a company that's looking for me to raise money. Oh, yeah, tell me more. So that's important. It's key. Only these two things, nothing more. Everything else you want to say about your organization, you would say after the 20 or 30 seconds. And that's what we're going to practice with each person. Where does it take place? So, you know, you can say the difference that your idea makes, the pain in the solution. I mean, the best one I ever heard, although I've never heard it yet, but the fewer words, the better. And it just, everybody understands exactly what you say. If somebody were to say, we cure cancer. Whoa, if you come out and say that, somebody's going to say, tell me more. You can say, you know, our product or service will get you a 10 times return. If you want to say you got a 10 times return, for example, by buying my product or service, no problem, but you're going to have to back that up. But if you said that, I'm going to say, whoa. And then in the next 2 minutes or 20 minutes, you're going to have to make that clear about why that is the case. And you can't, you know, what's the word? Tell anything other than the truth. But you tell it if you can say it. And then at the end of your conversation, you want to make sure they're ready for the next conversation, which means you don't leave the conversation until you say, should I call you next week? When's good to call you? You know, set up a time specific, because you're in charge of selling a product, service, or idea. You know, if they say, give me a call, you don't know when that is, or they'll call you, forget it. You got to be in charge of the follow-up. Key points. What we're going to develop today is an iterative process. Your pitch is not done being refined on a continual improvement basis until you retire. You know, a famous basketball coach says everybody likes to go to the playoffs, but nobody likes to practice. If you want to be great at what you do, you've got to practice, you know, your pitch, you know, not just here today for a few minutes. You've got to do a lot of practice and keep practicing. You know, with people, you got to be enthusiastic. Like I say, nobody would, you know, if you want to have people invest in you or buy your product or service or give you a donation, you better use enthusiasm. You can get it without enthusiasm, but a lot harder. You have to be, you know, true. You can't lie about anything, because that'll come back to haunt you. But that's distinct from fake it until you make it when it comes to the quality, the enthusiasm of your presentations. Every opportunity, be it a fundraiser or, you know, or a product or service or new company investment, they all have negatives. Nothing has no negatives I know of if it's a future opportunity. You can either be offense or defense. You can wait for them to ask that question you wish they wouldn't ask, or you can bring that question up proactively because you can position it and be on the offense. You can't get rid of a negative, but you can position it and have it be less kind of negative by positioning it proactively. Again, your words, this first 20 or 30 seconds, the fewer words, the better always, because it's all about people simply understand that what you got is I want to know more about. And you'll see when we do this one-on-one. Best thing, get a personal coach, somebody, you know, not somebody that works for you, because they know a lot about your organization already. When you go to a new donor, a new customer, a new potential staff person, they don't know anything about your organization except maybe they have some idea if they went to your website. So you want to get somebody who exemplifies your potential customer or donor or investor. And tell them to sit down. I want you to take some notes. I'm going to do my presentation, and I want you to make notes as I go along for anything you wonder, what did he say? Why did he say that? Those questions in your head, or I don't understand why they said that. They would write that down and then give you feedback. A continual iterative process. When people say no, and you're raising money, it's hard sometimes to ask them, well, why not? And half the time people will tell you the truth. Well, it's not my cup of tea or whatever. I don't have a lot of money these days. But the other half of the people will tell you that is really key. You need feedback, because I can't tell you how many times people have said, well, I don't like this, or I don't like that. And I'm thinking, oh, what? I already told them why it wasn't that. But that's the stuff that people don't get it to their bones. Even though you said it, I mean, don't have the time, but I could take the time, I assure you, to go through how I said things, and people like, are you kidding me? And what's a real an idea? Oh, well, I had a deal that the person said, well, I don't want to invest in something that's more than 5 years. I said, well, I said it was only 5 years or 3 years before we sell the company. Why do you think I didn't even, where'd you get that idea? He said, well, your projection was 7 years. So he thought he was going to, there you go. Or, if you were to say CIA, we all know what that means. If you say NIH, National Institute of Health, when you're selling a medical deal, if I say NIH, hardly anybody's going to know what I'm talking about. So if I want to use that jargon, I would say NIH, National Institute of Health, AACCWP, African American Chamber of Commerce. Say it right away, then they don't think, oh, I wonder what they mean by that. Your personal coach should be committed to nothing less than having them get it to the depths of their bones, to get your articulation like you got. This is a key thing about an elevator pitch. I made this one up, but you never know. It could be true. At some point, for anybody who doesn't know, Columbus got the money from the Queen of Portugal, Queen Isabella. But before he got the money for his first trip to America from Queen Isabella, it's possible somebody said this statement, and boom, the world for Columbus changed and our world changed out of that question that was asked. Same thing in an elevator. Somebody might, or not even somebody might ask, you might proactively, a person standing in an elevator, say, hey, I know who you are, or I saw you speak, or some reason for you to talk to that stranger, and you say, look, blah, 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 in 20 seconds. And they get off that elevator thinking, tell me more. So you could say, would you like me to give you a call, and step off the elevator to get their info? Or they get off the elevator and say, give me a call. Because you said something to have them think, ooh, tell me more. All right, so done with the screen sharing here and the PowerPoint. Now we're going to do the most fun part of this thing, which is the individual pitch. We have Felicia and Rachel and Cynthia and Melissa, and then we have Beretta and Doris and Sean if we have time. So you guys can think about who's going to go first among the three of you. But coming back, I would say that when I was in college, and I would, people would be up in the front of the room doing something, I was always the person in the last row. Remember, introvert. And I was always the last person to volunteer for something, introvert. But what I do now, when I go anywhere, I'm sitting in the first row, and if they're asking for volunteers, I'm the first person, because I came to realize I really wanted to be rich. And achieve my goals. Being in the last row and being the last person is not the way to go, because often the last person that goes and, when they're calling on names to do something, you run out of time. Or the first person usually gets the most coaching. So if you really want to improve your value proposition, the articulation of your value proposition, when I say who'd like to go first, all four of you, Cynthia, Melissa, Felicia, and Rachel, you all should raise your hands at the same time. Who gets to go first? So who'd like to go first? Okay, I saw you say Rachel, not me, so that must mean you. Right? Okay, you can take yourself off mute.
Oh man, okay.
Okay. So honestly, I won't bite. And even if I did, I can't. You're too far away. But this may feel uncomfortable, but it's not intended to have you be uncomfortable. It's just like you're in the front of a room now, and I'm going to ask you some questions. And what we're going to get to, this always happens. I've only seen one person in my whole career have a great elevator pitch, boom, right off the bat. What we're going to go through is just some questions and dialogue where we're going to reveal something that is trees from the forest for you, Rachel. But once you reveal it for yourself, it'll be obvious when said. And it'll be a cool thing for you to use in your organization. So tell me about what's the name of your organization, Rachel, and what do you do? This is actually your elevator pitch for real. We're in an elevator, or we're at a party, or you know, you're trying to recruit me for something, and I say, well, what do you do? Remember, this has to be what you do and what's special about what you do. That's the key thing. And you only got 20 or 30 seconds. So, hey, nice to meet you, Rachel. What do you do?
Oh my gosh, I'm not ready. Okay, I work at Pittsburgh Job Corps as our business community liaison, and my job is to create relationships between our Job Corps Center here and the greater Pittsburgh community.
Well, see, all that's very nice, Rachel, but to be frank and to be brutally frank, but not brutal. When I say, what do you do? Remember, you're selling something. So you don't really want to tell me what you do. You want to tell me what your organization accomplishes, because you want me to give money to your organization. You want me to come work for your organization. You want me to volunteer for your organization. Any of those things. So it has nothing to do with what you do. It's what is your organization doing? What's special about it? So what you do is, I work for an organization that blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't even say the name, because you said, what was the name of the organization?
Pittsburgh Job Corps.
Okay, when you said Pittsburgh Job Corps, I mean, that's not jargon. However, because I'm partially hard of hearing, and even if I weren't, this would apply, is when you said Pittsburgh Job Corps, I immediately thought, what did she say? And when I thought, what did she say? Guess what? I didn't listen to the next 4 or 5 words. So I lost my train of thought. You lost me. You didn't get me to think, ooh, tell me more. So you don't even need to, you don't want to say the name of your organization, because unless it's so clear, you know, like if I said I work for the FBI, like I said, we all know what that means, right? Or I said I raise money for startup companies. That's really clear. So it's what I do, and what's special is the 110 or 120 million. And when I say that 110 or 120 million, you can hear it's one number, another number. What is it? It's somewhere in that range. Doesn't matter. And I can say it 100 different ways, and it doesn't matter. It's money raiser and 110 million. That's the 2 things. So we're going to find what your 2 things are. So what does the urban, whatever it was, your organization do?
We eliminate barriers to education and job training.
Okay, and do you think what you're doing there is you're accomplishing great thing? I'm going to define great as being it's an important mission, and equally, if not more so important, is you're really great at it, not just good at it. Do you feel that in your heart?
I do. I really stand behind the work that we do here. And I believe
Okay, so why do you say you do?
I'm trying to figure out how I can say this in like 10 seconds.
What does your organization do that gets you so excited?
We have a tuition-free program where students can get hands-on learning in their trade field of choice.
And does that make much of a difference to these students to get hands-on learning in their field of choice?
Yes, because if they went anywhere else, they could be paying upwards of tens and thousands of dollars.
Oh, you do it for free. Is there anybody else around that does what you're doing as well as you're doing it for free?
I'm actually not sure because I'm not from the Pittsburgh area, but I want to say no.
Yeah, we should ask your executive director, so because this has to be accurate. And if there's 1 or 2 others, you could still say we're one of 3, or the only one. Okay, because we're trying to say what's unique about your organization, and B, what's unique is 100 and some million. So you're one of 2 or 1 of 3, or we're the only one that provides. And what was it again?
We provide hands-on hands-on technical training, I guess.
To low-income people.
Among other things, yeah.
Well, what's the main thing? We're only talking about the main impact. When I say the main thing, I'm sure you give it low-income, medium-income people, sure, but your mission is all about helping people that don't do not have money, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so we help people badly in need to obtain, what is it that they obtain? Not just an education, to find their career.
So we have two different ways they can go. We have a college sponsorship program. So if they wanted to attend one of the 3 area community colleges, we pay for their tuition, or they could do our trade program where they get that hands-on training in their field of choice that we also cover.
Are you saying that you cover the tuition costs of college or trade school?
So we are the trade school, and we also provide tuition for those who want to go to community college instead of doing our trade program, and we pay for that because our goal is to eliminate any barrier that we can for someone to enter into the workforce, whether it be through college or through um, the trades.
And how many people do you serve a year?
Currently, I mean, it changes year by year because we do rolling admissions. Currently, we have about a little over or a little under 500 students, but it changes on a week-to-week basis.
How many students?
A little less than 500.
Okay. And how long have you been around
I
the
am
organization?
actually I'm 1 week shy of a year.
No, not you. I mean the organization.
Oh, we are actually celebrating our 60th anniversary, the National Job Corps Association.
So
Sorry.
the 500 a year times 60 years, that's 30,000 people.
But that's just
Now you didn't start out and have 500 every year, of course.
no, but that's also that number is specific to Pittsburgh. We serve millions of students here because we are a national organization.
Oh, well, we're a national organization. We're just in Pittsburgh alone. We've helped. Yeah, ask your executive director again for a better handle on this number, but it's not 60,000, but it's not 500. It's what have you done for 60 years, and you don't have to be exact. It's like if it was 500 a year for 60 years and 30,000 people, you'd be pretty safe if you said tens of thousands, which means at least 20,000. Or if they're not tens of thousands, if that's not accurate, your executive director, not sure, you could say more than 10,000. Because your executive director, maybe they've been around long enough to say, well, certainly more than 10,000. That's an impressive number. So we have helped over 10,000 low or very low income students or people get a free trade school education, or is it the 2-year thing at the CCAC?
Yes.
Or we'll get either a free trade school, or however you want to say it, education, or a associate's degree, or a 2-year education, something like that. These are not the words to use. It's something like these kind of words. And so we help people we help low-income people. We're a national organization. We're in Pittsburgh alone. We're the only, or there are only one of 2 organizations that provide full tuition, if that's the case, to over the years, over 10,000 students with free tuition to trade school or 2-year CCAC kind of thing. Is that all accurate?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, so you provide free education. The 2 things. My thing is raise money for companies at 110 million. Your thing is provide trade education, free tuition for trade school and a 2-year college degree, or a 2-year college degree. And your accomplishment, the thing you're really proud of, and we have done this, greater than 10,000. So when I say, what do, you want to tell me what your organization does and what you're proud of. So it's again, we know the key thing is whatever your organization does, it's something around the area of provide free trade school or 2-year college tuition. And over whatever it was, 60 years, you don't need to say 60, but over the years, you could say 61 over the years, tens of thousands, or more than 10,000, I like more than 10 because 10 is kind of nebulous. More than 10 is pretty specific, more specific.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's hear you say it now, Rachel, your version of
I was trying to write it down. Let me see. Okay. Um, I don't even know how to start it. Okay, so I work for an organization that provides tuition-free education and training to low-income students, and we've served thousands of students over the last 60 years.
that. No, no. First of all, you sound bored. And over the years, I'm proud to say, if you, again, you say
I'm
this the way
proud
you
to
say
say.
it. If you are proud inside of yourself, and
Yeah.
I'd say I'm proud to say, or what's exciting, or however you want to say it. See, there's no only one way to say this. There's only two things you want to say, which is free tuition for low-income students and greater than 10,000 over the years. It's the only two things you want to say, and you can say it in any, with other, in two different kinds of sentences or one long sentence. But any way you want, but get those two facts in. So, and when you're saying it, you want to be enthusiastic, express how proud you are of what you do for these students, and say it in a way by, and over the years, I'm proud to say, see how I raised my voice? Because you are proud. You got to express the enthusiasm inside of you, Rachel. So let's try it. And what you're writing down, you only need to write down two things, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Free tuition for grade school and 2-year college, and greater than 10,000. The rest, you're going to kind of wing it, but you get the idea. So, what do you do, Rachel?
Okay. I work for an organization that I work for an organization that provides tuition-free education and training to low-income students. And then I added age 16 to 24. Um, we pride ourselves on having served over 10,000 students in the last 60 years.
Okay, so you don't need to say in this one. Remember, you can talk about whatever you said, 16 to 24, after the 20, 30 seconds.
Okay.
Because when you say low-income students, everybody knows you mean younger people. Maybe not always, but mostly. So you don't need to throw that in the first 20 or 30 seconds. Okay, that and everything else you'd like to say about your programs, again, comes after the first 20 or 30 seconds. And you got to say it like with enthusiasm. You give this training, and I'd like to hear enthusiasm, like either raise your voice or look closer into the camera. There's many ways to express it. Look for like physical things to express what's inside of you. Okay, you're up, Rachel. What do you do?
I'm just nervous. I'm sorry. I work for I work for an organization that provides tuition-free education and training to low-income students. We pride ourselves on the fact that we've served over 10,000 students in the last 60 years.
Okay, so served, or have you allowed over 10,000, more than 10,000 students to get degrees?
I like the word serve, or maybe invest. Maybe we've
Okay,
invested in students.
but you got to say, I'm really proud. We've helped over 10,000 students over the years.
Okay.
And then you stop and let them think, tell me more. Always stop at the end of this pitch thing to give them a millisecond to think, tell me more. Because you don't want to just go on to the next thing without them consciously feeling, ooh, tell me more. So you have to get this right. So you don't need to read it anymore. Because there's only two things you're going to remember, right?
I hope so.
Free tuition for trade school and 2-year college degrees. And over the years, you don't even need to say 60. That can be in after the 30 seconds, Rachel. Over the years, I'm so excited that we've actually enabled over 10,000 people to get degrees. But say it like that, where you really are proud of that. Now your turn.
Okay. I work for an organization. Oh, now I'm getting okay.
Okay, so look at me. We're at a party, and I'm saying, hey, what you do? What do you do? Okay, and you're gonna just say it now.
Okay. I work for an organization that prides itself on. Oh no! Hold on.
All right. By the way, Rachel, you're not the only one that's kind of like goes through this uncomfortable thing like this, trying to remember everybody. So you're cool. You're doing what everybody does, but you got to push through this.
I think it's because I went first.
Say what?
It's because I went first.
Okay.
What's
That's okay. But see, after you're done here, you can relax and let the others sweat it out. Okay. So go ahead.
I know what that's like, Rachel.
I'm trying to get through it. I just keep getting nervous. Okay. Okay, so I work for a organization that provides a tuition-free education and training experience for low-income students. I'm very proud to say that we've served over 10,000 students over the years.
Period. Stop.
Period.
Just have it, except when you say, tuition-free education, you need to say a trade school or college degree or two-year college degree because it's not high school education.
We do provide high school diplomas, though.
Yes, I understand, but see, I would imagine most of your programs, well, I don't know, maybe it is high school, but are that 500 students, are most of them getting trade school or college degrees?
So I don't know the exact number, but when I started as an admissions counselor, most of the students I brought in still needed to get their high school diploma.
Okay.
So we have a good number of students, but they're not all high school aged, if that makes sense. A lot of our students are actually over the age of 18, but they still need to get their high school.
Sure, yeah. So you provide free tuition to get college degrees. See, after the 30 seconds, when you're going to have another minute or two or three, you can tell your donor or whomever, now all of our more than 10,000, that's not all college degrees. Some is high school degrees. Okay?
Right.
Easy now, you get those things that's fine, you can say it that way. But let's stick with getting a trade school or two-year college degree, free tuition. See, because as a donor, when you tell me you're giving me providing free tuition for high school, I'm thinking as a donor, well, that can't cost very much.
Right.
But you tell me free tuition to a trade school or two-year college degree, that's a lot of money. See, so you don't want me thinking that something less than what your accomplishment is. And yes, you do provide training, high school GEDs, for some students, and maybe it's half of them. But the thing that you're really proud of is getting, and then you'll say, only half, but we're really proud with those people because they got GEDs. They would not have otherwise ever have that in their life. You can say that all in the next 30 seconds. Or you can say even if you want, we provide free tuition for people that might very well never get a trade school or a two-year college education, but we do. We've done that for over 10,000 people. See, a lot of words I just said there, but I say it quickly and get it all in within 30 seconds. So any version like that's for the future. Today, let's keep it simple. So you can't read. We're here. I mean, one time really, we had an elevator pitch contest with hundreds of people. One person came out to do their thing, and they actually had notes. And I think on an elevator, somebody says, "What are you going to grab your notes?" No. So no notes. You've not, because you only have two things to remember. You get free tuition for trade school or a two-year degree, and you're so proud about having served over 10,000 or whatever that number is. So what do you do, Rachel?
I work for an organization that provides a tuition-free education through a two-year college program or through our trade school. And I'm proud to say that we have served over 10,000 students over the years.
Tell me more. See, that's what I thought. When you said that, no, you could say over the years, like uptone. I'm proud to say over 10,000 students over the years. Okay, just to show your enthusiasm more, but you got it.
Thanks.
You're done. Good job.
Thanks.
Now,
Good job, Rachel.
Yeah. And Rachel, 4 or 5 other things you'd like to say to that prospective donor or even a student, because you're trying to recruit students. Those 4 or 5 things, which would be in the next 2 or 3 minutes, whatever, they each should go through this process with your personal coach, because it allows you to sharpen the points you want to make. okay? Because what we just did is sharpen the introductory thing. Now there's 4 or 5 other things you want this person to know, okay? So go through the same process with somebody else for the other things. And this one, the opener, you have it now for the rest of your life, and you can modify it, but it's those 2 things. You know, you provide these trade school and college degrees free, and the number of people we're still touching and impacting is a lot. Okay? Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, who's next? Oh, there you go, Melissa. Come on. We're ready for you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah. What do you do?
I'm a virtual assistant that can save your business hundreds of thousands of dollars and give you back precious time.
Okay, well, that's good. You learn to keep it short. That's a good idea. So you're a virtual assistant
Mhm.
and saves people time, right?
Time and money.
Would you say and money?
And money.
Okay. See, so I'm a listener. I've never met you before. I hear that, and my first thought was, and again, this is what people think. They'll never tell you this, but they're going to think something in the vein of, well, okay, yeah, you and everybody else so well. You know, because you're not the only virtual assistant. So why do people love working with you? What's special about what you do?
What's special about a virtual assistant?
No. What's special about what you do or your company?
Okay. What's special about my company is that when your company, what do I want to say? When your company is on a scaling down, we can scale our hours back. If your company needs more help, we can scale our hours up. So that's part of saving money. When you have a part-time or full-time employee that you have to give hours to because they're on your payroll, you don't have to do that for a virtual assistant in my organization.
See, your use of a virtual assistant allows people to work with like as if you're a contractor. I understand, and they can flex your time up and down, no problem. But see, there's you and a lot of other people that do that. What's special about Melissa Coleman's company? Or if you're the only one in your company, what's special about Melissa Coleman that your clients would say if you asked them? Anybody that's had more than one virtual assistant in their whole life, you included, what would they say about their experience with you?
That you will get a professional if you're looking for human resources management. I am a professional of over 25 years with payroll, benefits, and also I am an entrepreneur. So if you're looking, so my services would mirror, being your assistant and help you. I don't know what to say right there.
Okay, we're getting in the right direction because having been an entrepreneur for 25 years myself, I provide virtual, what do we call virtual contract services, virtual administrative services.
Yes.
So that's what you do. Okay, that's one half of the formula here. And is it you alone, or you had a team of people?
So I do have a team, but right now it's just me, and
Okay.
we're waiting. So as we get on new contracts, I divvy out the work.
All right. So the fact that you now more later, you can talk about that after the 30 seconds. Okay. Right now it's you. Okay. So when somebody says, "I'm a professional with over 25 years of experience," not even for professional, fewer words the better. I'm an entrepreneur with over 25 years of experience, or I'm a 25-year entrepreneur. See how you can say it differently, but it's the same thing. Anybody want to say it? And I provide a virtual, administrative, if that's the way to say it, services to other entrepreneurs. What's special about me, or what's special about my services, is one way to say it, and then you're going to say what's special. Another way to say this is, I've served, how many clients have you had?
Well, I just started in October, so I had 4
Okay, and do you call them clients or customers?
clients.
Okay, and if you ask those clients, and maybe you don't know the answer to this today, so you should go ask those clients, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are they with your service? What do you think they would say? What's the average number if you ask 4 of them? What would they say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best?
I would say 10.
Okay, so now you want to go validate this, because just because you say so doesn't make it so in the eye and the ears of the listener. We're all skeptical and cynical people. To be human, this includes being that. So what you want to do is just call them up and say, I'm developing a pitch for myself for new clients. And I want to tell people that on a scale of 1 to 10, and be honest with me now, don't let them, tell them you want the truth. Don't make you feel good just because that's what they want to do. And say on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with my service? And then if it was all 4 of them say 10, then you would say, by the way, the fact that you start in October, that is one of the perceived or real negatives, right? You don't have 25 years of service doing this. Okay, let me finish. So it's a question you would prefer them not to ask, because you got to tell them, well, for up until October, I've been doing this for 25 years, doing that, blah blah blah. No, that's not what it's about, because you're defending that you're not just having just 4 months or whatever it is of experience. You don't want to defend it. You're going to position it. You're going to say, I do this 20. I've got 25-year. I'm an entrepreneur with 25 years of experience, and I began a new business that provides great service. This is real quick, and started a new business just 4 months ago, providing great service. And if you went to the 4 clients I went to the 4 clients. No, if you went to the 4 clients I have to check out references, each of them would rank me, I'm proud to say, a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of competency and pleasure to work with, whatever attributes you want to use. And if you did that, now if they said instead, 8 and 9 and, whatever, and you came out and said the average was, 8.2 on a scale of 10, or rounded to 8. Okay, that's impressive. But, if you think you're going to say 9 or 10, great. That's pretty cool. Somebody might say 12, and then somebody else said 8, so that average is 10. See, because you're talking about the average for 4 people in a poll that you took. So you have to let the listener know that you're talking about what your clients have said. So what I'd like you to say is, this 25-year thing, I've been in business for 4 months providing terrific administrative services, virtual. And I'm proud to say that the clients I've had would rank me on a scale of 1 to 10 at a 10. And just say, look, like I'm proud to say, they would rank me at a 10, and kind of even lean in a little. So let me have your version of that, or else you wanted to say something there, and I didn't let you, so go ahead.
Well, I wanted to say that because virtual assistant is a new word, right? Or, that people's been using, but we've all done virtual assistant work. So like at my job now, I'm a human resource director for a hospital. I have done virtual work from here, from, Boston, for New Jersey. So even though we didn't call it virtual assistant, it is virtual assistant because I was doing the work here for another. So, I mean, even though my business only been in business for 4 months, not necessarily have I been doing virtual assistant just for 4 months.
Right. Again,
so I'm trying to think how I can.
Well, first of all, you can be more clear. After the 30 seconds, you certainly want to say it. And one of my clients is, I'm a, whatever you said, training coordinator for a hospital. It's not like one of your clients is Mel Prochaski's got his own business down the street, one person. I mean, that's impressive. And you could even use that as an example. And, and one of my clients is a 400-bed hospital where I'm the training coordinator. Whoa. That's pretty cool for somebody who's an entrepreneur, you know. That, for you to be able to say that means you have got something good about what you're doing. Experience, knowledge, client relations. You couldn't be a training coordinator as a virtual trainer. So if you're concerned about using the word virtual, because not everybody's going to know what that means, then what you say is, I'm a virtual, I mean remote.
Yeah.
You say both. Yeah, I'm a virtual, I mean remote, or I'm a remote virtual, or virtual remote. See, just like I say NIH, National Institute of Health, I can use jargon as long as I define it instantly. You know, I don't give you time to think what they mean. So,
Right.
so if virtual,
Gotcha.
if you want to keep the word virtual, just explain it in a few words like virtual, meaning remote. And then go on to say the rest. All right? Okay, so Melissa, so from the top, you're going to include the word virtual and explain what it means quickly and say, you know, 25 years, if you want to say entrepreneur, fine, serve clients. And what's great about my services is that if you talk to all the clients, you know, it's only 4, but I've had since I started last year, they would rank me, they did rank me, you know, and they didn't tell me, and again, after the 30 seconds, you can say, by the way, and in that ranking, I asked them not to tell me what I want to hear. That's after the 30 seconds, because, you know, you don't want somebody thinking, oh, yeah, the deck is stacked, you know, your friends all rank. Now, these are big companies, whatever, this is a hospital or something, after the 30 seconds. Because you're always thinking, what's the investor thinking if they were skeptical? And they might think, well, you stacked the deck, you know, they're your all friends, and of course they'll say 10. They won't tell you the truth. But you can say, no, I asked them to tell me the truth, and I believe they really did, and I'm proud. They really did, right? Again, that's after the 30 seconds. That's part of how you sink the hook even lower, in more. Okay, so let's take it from the top. Melissa, what do you do again?
I am a virtual assistant which is a remote person who works for companies to save them.
Wait, that's too many words. I work for a virtual, like a remote. That's all you need to say. I'm a virtual, like a remote assistant. You say it all fast enough, you can get it all in.
Okay. I'm a virtual, like a remote
assistant.
Virtual assistant. Okay. I am a virtual assistant, like a remote virtual assistant that works for companies, that help companies save hundreds of thousands of dollars and time.
Oh, did you actually save a company hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Yep, because she was up to be fined. She was going to be fined because she didn't have her paperwork intact. So I got all her licenses together.
Okay.
And submitted her paperwork, and that fine went away. It was going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That can almost be what makes you special, instead of saying, you know, 10 out of 10. But on the other hand, that's like one example, an example of one of your accomplishments. So it might be better to have it after the 30 seconds as one of the things you will say. But in the first 30 seconds, you're going to be talking about 4 people. You know, so it's more impressive to me. I mean, it's great that you saved somebody $100,000, but it to me is a little more. It's more impressive that you had 4 out of 4, give you a ranking of 10, and then on top of that, you saved one of them $100,000, or maybe the $100,000 was in your prior career.
No, it was in the 4. Was within.
Oh, even better. Get that on again after the 30 seconds. You know, I mean. Again, you can violate the 30-second rule. It's just dangerous territory because you can lose the span of attention. But if you want to violate it with something that's so interesting that you just can't get it off your chest, so to speak, well, no, don't violate. Keep it short, and then after the 30 seconds, you'll bring up this thing about the 100,000. That's pretty cool. That'll for sure they're going to want to know more. So let's just stick with the 10 out of 10. The only 2 things is you're a virtual, remote assistant, providing you know, administrative services, outstanding, not just administrative services. If you consider your services to be outstanding, or better yet, providing, in the words of my clients, outstanding, even better, if that's the case. Because you can ask these clients, beside the ranking of 1 out of 10, how would you describe it using these words? Okay, good, great, outstanding, see what they say. All right, so let's take it from the top. So what do you do?
I'm a virtual assistant, like a remote assistant that helps businesses save money and time. And if asked from my current clients on a scale of 1 to 10, how well my business has serviced them, they would give me an outstanding rating based off of the services that I provided.
Well, just ask them, instead of saying outstanding to begin with, the reason I like the objective numbers, see, when you say outstanding, after you've said 10 out of 10, or even if you said just 10 out of 10 and outstanding later, I know what you mean. When you say outstanding, I don't really know, like, well, that's a nice word, but me, the listener, especially because I'm an accountant, but this is to accountants, it's easier to understand an objective number than it is a subjective term. When I say understand, getting into the depths of my bones, that's the key here. Okay, so I think saying, and I took a poll of my clients, there's only 4 of them so far, but they really did come back and say that they would rank me a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm proud to say it.
Oh.
You got to get me to want to find out what's that about. So only by saying it like how proud you are about, 4 clients have said you get 10 on the scale of 1 to 10. So let's hear it. What do you do, Melissa?
I'm a virtual assistant, like a remote assistant that, I messed up. Hold on.
Okay. So you're a virtual, don't say assistant twice. I'm a virtual, like a remote assistant.
I'm a virtual, like a remote assistant that gives, that provides. Okay. I'm a virtual, like a remote assistant that provides services to small businesses and companies. No, I'm sorry.
That provides administrative services to companies. If that's what it is.
I'm a virtual, like a remote assistant that provides small businesses services such as administrative.
No, that's it. Say administrative and other services.
And other services. Administrative and other
services to small businesses.
Yeah, I had this all together. Okay.
It's coming.
Okay. I am a virtual, like a remote assistant who provides administrative duties and other duties to small businesses to save them time and money. I took a poll of my clients from a scale of 1 to 10 who rated me an 8, and I am so proud of that. And I don't know what else.
I took a poll of my clients, and they rated me 8 on a scale of 10. I'm so proud of that.
Okay. And they rated me.
Yeah. See, the idea is then stop, because you stopped on, they rated you 8 out of 10, and you want somebody to say, oh, well, tell me more about that. And then you go to the $100,000 exam.
Okay. So I should say. So I should start with, and I am so proud of it.
Yes. Yeah, and then you stop. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I took a poll of my 4 clients, only 4, and they said that they would rate me 10 on a scale of 8 on a scale of 1 to 10 for services, and I know what I need to do to get to 10. Because that's the other thing. If they say 8, I always ask people, like a patent, how good is a patent? A patent attorney on a scale of 1 to 10, and they tell me whatever they say, because I don't know patents, but I can understand 1 to 10. If the patent attorney said 8, I said, well, what does it take to get to 10? And that person, in fact, told me that I'd only say 10 if we was in court in 1, which tells me, as of today, 8's the best I could ever get out of that individual. So that's a really good score. So my point about it is, ask them if they don't say 10, what's it take to get to 10? You'll want to know that.
Right. And so my question to you is, I mean, is that impressive to you as a business owner that somebody says, "Oh, I'm an 8 out of a 10." So, like, why
Because,
would I want to work
yeah,
with
okay, yeah, what was missing is you're an 8 out of 10, and quickly say, and I know what to do to get to 10.
you? Okay.
You say 8 out of 10, and I know what to do to get to 10. I'm so proud of that.
Okay.
Okay? But you have to, you don't have to say I'm so proud of it, but that's the idea. Say it so that they go, whoa. Okay? So this is your last shot here. So here it comes.
Okay. Here it comes. Hi. I'm not. I'm okay. We're in the elevator. What do you do? I am a virtual assistant. Nope. I'm a virtual remote assistant that helps businesses with administrative duties, um, human resources, and others. Um, I have taken a poll of my current clients, and they gave me a out of 1 to 10 an 8, and I know what to do to get to a 10, and I am so proud of that.
Tell me more. See, you when you say 8 and then you know what you get to 10 and you're proud of that, then
Yeah.
there's something behind that. I want to know why. What about that? How do you get to 10? I mean, what are you doing to get to 10? And why are you so proud of it? That takes away the negative, though. Well, 8's only 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Good job.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, I see, Rachel, you're hanging out there. Oh, wait. Oh, Felicia, there we are. No, I already did Rachel. Felicia, you're up at bat. You're on mute. There we go. Take yourself. There we go. Nice to meet you, Felicia. What
Nice
do
to
you
meet
do?
you as well. Well, I am proud to say I am a board member for an organization that's been around for almost 180 years.
Well, see, that's nice, but nah. I mean,
Yeah.
180 is part of it, but what do you do?
Well,
Just you're
one
old.
of the things that we
I'm
do,
old. I'm old, Felicia, but that doesn't cut me anything.
well, we impact families and children. We impact children, families, and youth in Allegheny County addressing those social determinants of health needs.
So again, you impact to word. I don't know what you mean because. So what? Everybody impact. I mean, every nonprofit impacts their. So we can't use that word because we don't know what it means. So first of all, let's go back to how many people you've served over 160 years of your organization. That's all right. You can go, and in the last 10 years, or
Okay.
you don't have to go to 160 years. How many clients or whatever it is that you have this year?
Well, we have impacted so far this year, just being the first quarter, we have reached out and impacted the lives of 50 families. And what do we do with those 50 families? We are looking at not just their physical health needs, but we're also looking at if they're in need of food, if they're in need of child care for the families that work. So we try to help those moms, or not just the moms, the whole family. If mom or dad is struggling maybe a little bit financially when it comes to child care, we provide that opportunity for them to be able to send their kids to our facility while they work, and they'll be
Okay,
at
so
peace.
we got to reduce that to 20, 30 seconds.
Ooh.
So last year you served, how many people did you serve last year in total?
Last year in total, we did about
Zoom call.
350 families.
Okay, 350 families. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're going to say hundreds. We serve hundreds of families a year. And we're focused on, I don't know if holistic is accurate or if that's jargon or not, but it depends who you're talking to, whether that's jargon, if they know.
Mhm.
But you got to be careful because if you're talking to somebody and you say holistic and they don't know what it means, they're going to think, I wonder what that means. So instead of holistic, you think of another word that, all of the medical and mental and food needs. But see, there's a lot of more words instead of holistic. But I'll bet you could look it up in the dictionary, holistic, and see what does it say are synonyms for that word. That would be more.
Now, would the word social determinants of health be a little bit too much to use, or?
Well, yeah, I don't know what you mean by social.
Well, when we look at social determinants of health, we're looking at those health needs other than just going to the doctor. We're looking at food. We're looking at social isolation, social connections. We're looking at access to foods, access to like recreational
Yeah, so see, when you say social services, Felicia,
social
I
determinants.
honestly don't know that you mean all of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I wouldn't use that. I would say,
Okay.
we provide, food, health services, make a, but as I said, I'd rather you come up with another word than holistic.
Okay.
Find a synonym, so you don't have to list 4 or 5 things. You can do the 4 or 5 things after the 30 seconds. We want one word because in the interest of time, that is like holistic.
What about we focus on the total on the total family or the whole family or
Well, it's you focus on the medical, food, mental, and on and all of the needs of a family, social needs. Then you can say social and all. That's one way to do it instead of one. If you can't think of one word, that's what you do. Now and you do this for hundreds of families a year. That's another thing to get in here. But I still have to find out, well, what's special about what your organization does versus all the other organizations that work with families in a holistic way. What do you guys do that's special? Why are you working there versus some besides having the job there? Why would you rather work there than somewhere else? What is it that makes you proud about your organization?
well, what I'm promoting isn't a where I work is a board. I'm a member of the board of the YW of the MCA, and right now we're trying to do fundraising to get more, things for summer camp and things like that.
Yeah, right. So why should I give money to the Y versus I could give money to the Y, uh, was it YMCA, and what's the other one?
W.
YWCA. When I was a kid, they used to have the YM and WHA. That was the Young Men's and Women's Hebrew Association. That's what it was. Now it's the JCC in Pittsburgh. But the point is, there's the YMCA and there's the YWCA and then there's the Urban League and there's all these other organizations that provide services like you're talking about, all these services to families.
Mhm.
Well then what I say is, well, that's good, but what's great? Why should I give my money to you versus all those other ones?
Well,
Okay.
we provide a safe environment. We teach swim lessons. We also do those social connections. We also take them on field
No,
trips.
no, 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 no.
No?
It's the result. I'm looking for the benefit, not the. Those are what you do. What's the What do you see in these families, kind of across the board? For them, maybe not every one, but for the most part, you see them. You see the families change. The
Yeah.
what? Tell me.
Yeah, well, the overall impact benefit is that we do see these families being able to succeed in life more. We do see these families being able to bring their kids to our facility, knowing that they can go out, they can go to work and not be, concerned if their child's getting properly cared for.
Okay, so we train. We work with families
Mhm.
to produce. Let's figure out what's the words. That's the benefit, not the features. To produce, and I'm so proud. I'm so excited about uh, the results that we, in terms of more successful families or more you know families that have homes. See what I'm getting at? Things that just when you see it happening, and it isn't just only one, but you see it happening and say, man, I'm so glad I work here. So what are the things that, give me a couple of examples of what you've seen happen that just thrill you to no end?
I guess one of the things that really sticks out to me is when the families are coming in, there are a little bit more at ease, a little bit more relaxed. They're able to, like I said, the final impact is that we do see the families, I guess, being a little bit more successful. I guess maybe being a bit more productive at work.
Okay, well, so
Yeah.
and I've watched hundreds of families. How long have you been there?
I've been a board member there for like this will be my second year.
Okay, so you can say I've seen dozens of families then that have been touched and been made more successful, been made. It's just so great. See, it's this way you're describing what you see that has me want to know more. That's
Mhm.
you got my heart. And you got to say with passion, or it won't connect. So it's the things that you say. I've seen, and I gotta tell you, I've seen families that just they are so impacted. They're so changed. They are so much more successful. Whatever words you want to use, but that's what you got to let me know to have me want to learn more, to listen differently. Okay, so uh, today you're just gonna. You may not have the right words today, but you got the idea. So let's try to get the right words. So you work at an organization that impacts hundreds of families a year, and I'm proud to say that when I see the impact, it's just whatever it is. Tell me. Okay.
Okay, well,
And you don't need to say you're on the board or you work for or any of that. You can just say I'm with. And then
okay.
after the 30 seconds, you're going to say you're on the board, and you get into all the other things, but it doesn't matter, board or staff. It's you're with this organization. What do they do and what's special? That's the thing. So from the top, and also it's better not to say the YM or whatever, because you don't want anybody like before saying, well, what did she say? Or in case they don't pick up on it. Or you say YMCA and they immediately think, oh, I know all about that, and they stop listening. So that's why you don't have to say the name. You can say that after the 30 seconds. What do you do and what's great? So what do
Okay.
you do, Alicia?
I am a part of an organization that helps families to be more productive in life. So over the course of the years, I've seen families be more successful, more productive in life and in their careers.
Okay, you almost have it, except you kind of tailed off at the end. I've seen over the years, I've seen dozens or hundreds of families be more successful, more whatever, and it's just so exciting. And it's so exciting. Come on, with an uptone in the voice. Go ahead, one more time.
Okay. I work with an organization that works with hundreds of families. And one of the things that I have seen over the course of the year is how productive and successful these families are. And I'm just so excited to be working with these families to be a part of this organization.
Tell me more. There you go. You're done. Nice job.
Thank you.
So we have 2 minutes if you, Beretta, or Doris, or Sean want to go again. I'm fine to stay for a minute or two, or not.
Yeah, y'all supposed to go and show us how it's done.
Well, let me share with our members how I started with this and how Mel helped me. And Mel, I hope I get this right as I say it. I'm now the Chief Executive Officer for the African American Chamber of Commerce here in Western Pennsylvania, and I am pleased to say that we can track over $1.5 billion in contracts and services for our members.
Over the years.
Over the years, yeah, I'm sorry, over the years.
Yes.
And we're the 7th largest chamber in the region.
And you could say started from scratch while you're at it. You can say it after the 30 seconds too. Right. Yeah, you got, okay, $1.5 billion. So let's say it again, Doris, from the top.
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Say it again from the top.
I'm the Chief Executive Officer for the African American Chamber of Commerce here in Western Pennsylvania. And since starting the chamber in 1998, we have grown to be the 7th largest chamber of commerce in the 10-county region, tracking over $1.5 billion in contracts and services that our members have received.
Tell me more. Yeah, very good. You still got it, sweetie.
Good, at least I got it. Okay.
Yeah, good. Sean, do you ever have to, or Beretta, do you want to, Sean, like, do you ever have to, well, not have to, you ever have the opportunity? People say, well, what do you do? What would you say?
Well, I say I work for an organization that continuously improves business and professional opportunities for minority and small business owners.
Well, see, that's what you do. But when you answer that question, you want to answer it with what you do and what's special about it. Let's see. Otherwise, people are going to think, well, you and a bunch of other organizations work with, minorities and, the Art League and this and that. So, but what's special about the chamber? Doris, talks about the 1.5 billion, which you could use the same 1.5 billion, or you could
Yeah.
use some.
Yeah, well, that would be next. I would say we our membership started at 20, and now we're over 640 paid members, in which we're able to track over $1 billion worth of bid referrals to our members.
Ooh, tell me more. See, you got me again with the $1 billion. That, because hey, I want some of that. That's the kind of you're generating that. See, you're generating those kind of thoughts in people when they think, tell me more. That's what you want. You want them to listen to more about the chamber in the next 2 minutes differently than they would otherwise have listened to it. And when you say it out like that, they are going to think, oh, tell me more, because maybe there's something that they can do through the chamber to earn a piece of the pie.
Yes, sir.
Loretta, you want to say anything, or you're good to go?
No, I can go. I'd always just start with, hi, I'm the president of the African American Chamber of Commerce of Western Pennsylvania. Over the years, we tracked over 1.5 billion in contracts and services, and we just recently were named the 7th largest chamber in the 10-county region that makes up Western Pennsylvania.
Well, you tailed off at the end instead of, you want to increase the volume of the tone of your voice.
Yeah, I got, I got like this thing going on my throat in my voice. I can't maintain it.
No problem, but you could also say, when you say the 1.5 billion, it's fine. I like to throw in, because I do this with my 100 million. I'm proud to say, because it's just another way to say how excited I am. It's this pitch thing is 3/4 of it is say with such passion. They got to know more. That's what you're really bringing. It's not what you do, and it's really not even what's special about what you do. It's the passion that you exude about what's special that brings them in and has them want to listen more intently. So again, so good job. So you got it there. You still got it too, Barata. Yeah, very good. So as I said, if there's 3 or 4 other points you would want to make in a discussion, each of those points have this kind of a process. It makes sense to have this kind of a process for each of these other points, just to sharpen them up. And that's how you will do your job better.
Mel,
Okay. Yes.
Mel, do you have you do coaching?
Do I do coaching? I do. I didn't come on here to try to generate coaching business, but I never say no. I never.
I need it bad.
Yeah. Well, you can call me. I got to run off over to Carnegie Mellon, but my number is 412-683-3400. You'll see it on my website, Melissa.
What's your website?
Eagleventures.biz. Eagleventures.biz. And but anyways, if I can't do it, I'll find somebody else that will help you with what you're trying to accomplish.
Thank you so much.
Right, and also, Sean, in the future, I took a lot more time with each individual because we have more time.
Yeah, more time. Mm-hmm.
Or I'd have to cut it down. But I would say in the future, let's try to limit it to say to 6 people. I kind of like this, because if you say there's only 6 slots, you make it more attractive for people. And if you end up with 10, we could do 6.
And we could scale it.
And we'll have a second workshop, a week later or whatever. First come, first serve. And you can tell people, if you're more than 6, we'll have to figure out another time.
Cool.
That way we'll get it done in an hour and a half.
Right.
Well, I can't thank you enough. It's always a pleasure to have you do this. And what's really special for me is to hear how our members understand and perfect their vision statement and where they are on what they do. I appreciate this, and we'll do another one, everyone. So at some point in time, I like your idea. Keep it to 6. That should work fine. Don't forget, we will have an evaluation, members, that will be sent to you to give feedback to Mel on how well this session worked. We've got some upcoming programs that you'll be getting more information about, and I thank you for your time and attention. Thank you again, Mel.
You're very well. Oh, by the way,
Thank you.
I'm not going to be charging in the future for the chamber, because I never have and never will. But I went to the Forbes Fund. I spoke to Hannah Carolick there, and they're willing to consider, no guarantees, subsidizing half of the cost for me to do this thing for other nonprofits, where there's at least 2 of them there, because they're in a collaboration. So if you know of other nonprofits who would like to do this for their staff, I mean, there is a cost, but as I said,
Oh, that's nice.
well, somebody calls me. I'm doing that now for, I don't even remember what the name of the RLC here. I'm doing that kind of thing on Tuesday for, who do they call it? The Center of Life, which is an organization in Hazelwood or somewhere. Point is, I'm drumming up business now. That's what I've been. I love doing. I would do this for free. Don't tell them that. Because I love it. It's so much fun to watch people's expression change when they get it, when they realize.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, members, Mel is one of our oldest members. He's been with us for a long time.
That's right.
So we value the relationship.
I'm one of the oldest people in Pittsburgh still living. Okay, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, okay.
But thank you all for your time and attention, and we'll be in touch. Thank you again, Mel.
All right, see you, Mel.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.